Maybe today's lecture a little bit philosophical and epiphenomenal. You understand what I'm talking about? Never understand? So you know the phenomenon, right? Phenomenon. Anyone tell me about phenomenon? Something, right? Epiphenomenon means a second effect, right? So it might be a little bit tricky, today's lecture. It might be, it's not. So you can use your instinct to understand today's lecture about mental imaginary. So why this mental imaginary is important? Because that is relevant to our knowledge representation in our brain. So up until now, we understand how we perceive the information, right? Using your eyes, using your ears, right? I'm looking at Taekyung, so that I'm just processing what I'm seeing, right? I'm processing it. But even though when I close my eyes, I can imagine him, right? Handsome guy. How this happens? Look at this thing. Perhaps it might be something in here, right? Might be something in here about him. It's not residual. It's kind of we are interpreting some of the information and we store that information is somewhere in here, right? So that's why we can use some of the devices. Okay? We can recognize the face of your friends and of course your parents, right? Just close your eyes and you can imagine anything you want. Architect, like an artist, okay, they imagine something in brain, isn't it? The Einstein in our textbook is Einstein had thought experiment in here to understand theory of relativity, right? 상대성이론, theory of relativity. So he just calculate and imagine in here and understand E equal mc square, right? So how this happens? It's not visual perception, isn't it? It's not audio perception, but we can do something in here with our mental power. So that is the main topic of today's lecture. So how that is represented in here. So that is relevant to the next week to understand memory and knowledge representation in the long-term memory. You get it? Okay. So our model of mind is we have sensory memory is in here, right? Sensory memory, sensory perception, and that goes to working memory with attention, right? And after processed by the working memory, all the information goes into long-term memory. That is our understanding of human mind, right? All the knowledge is represented in here, like a notebook, okay? But we don't know how it is represented. Okay, we don't know many things about this long-term memory aspect, but point about today is we understand up to in here, but how we put our understanding or our knowledge in here. So without this one, we can retrieve some of the information into the working memory. Right? Without looking anything, without hearing anything, we can imagine something. Right? So, before we going that, of course, I prepared 2 questions. Okay, this one is really simple questions, right? So probably the keyword you have to know up until now. At least when you take my course, you know what that means, right? Which of the following would be considered as a primary reinforcer for our perception, perceptual structure? Is it praise or reward or psychoactive drug like what I did in the morning? Like a burn, what is it? Burning something, okay? What is our primary reinforcer? So that could be a really simple question. Who is wrong in this question? We have 8% wrong. is this guy? A. Pray. Yeah, that is your parents do for you. Okay, not for me. Oh, money. Yes, one people. It could be work. But point is, the key things about our main perceptual thing is attention. When you pay attention, we can process the information using your organ, perceptive organ. Second question, you might need more time because if you are not read your chapter 3, you probably cannot answer this question. So that I can give 3 minutes to do it. So if you have within a 3-minute time, you have to look around your chapter 3, to understand or to find out answer. The question is that, what factor caused the difference seen in the ability to successfully perform two separate cognitive tasks? One is a visual task, the other one is an auditory task, such as, at once in the Byron and Anderson experiment and Schumacher's experiment. It comes from sensory modality or difficulty of task or type of motor response required or type of stimuli employed. I can give 3 minutes, 50%. Okay. So that's one you have to, go back to our question. So what I asked you is what factor made the difference, right? So what is it? Byron's Anderson's experiment using, what they say? Byron and Anderson? What do they say in the experiment? They said we can't do multitasking. Why? Anyone knows it? Tell me. Don't be shy. Keep talking. English is not your barrier. Yeah, exactly. The Byron used the same visual information thingy, right? That's why we can't do multitasking. Schumacher, he do one is a visual stuff, and the other one is audio stuff. So we can do multitasking. So that is really important thing you have to remember from now on when you need to study our course. So perhaps, it's not 100% guarantee yet because that is only theory. Most of us believe that visual modality and audio modality can be processed in different brain part. But it's not 100% correct. Some other evidence, adversary evidence comes up. I will explain week 7 such an evidence. So some of them believe that we still have the same modality to share, but basically around 95% of all the evidence say visual modality and audio modality might be differently processed in our brain. That's why John Anderson keep talking about verbal information, visual information, spatial information. He wants to categorize them. And which part of the brain is activated when you see, hear, feel such information. Different part of brain is working. That's why we can do multitasking in some part, some situation. In most other situation, we can't do multitasking. Okay, with this knowledge, we can go to our chapter 4. So chapter 4 is talking about, so mental imaginary. So chapter 4 is talking about two different types of imaginary. One is visual imaginary, and the other one is auditory or verbal imaginary. Okay? So probably many of you already have a certain experience when you close eye. Okay, so when you close eye, you can imagine your boyfriend or girlfriend, right? No? You never? You should. Okay? So how this happen? How we can make this kind of image in here? So I will give a 5 second, one of the pictures like that. Okay, it's only 5 seconds. Okay, what have you seen? Fish tank, right? How many fish? Heaps. How many fish? It's not heaps. 5, 6, 10? So question is, you just seen some of the information, right? You just seen some of the information. But sometimes you are not look closely everything, isn't it? Just a fish tank. And there are many fish. You're not looking detail like a computer. When this machine vision system, they will look through these images and they find how many fishes and colors matching or patterns and all sorts of things they have to retrieve from this image, right? But human being is different. We just look and just something else happens, isn't it? So think about this one. Say when you close your eyes and imagine the tiger. Okay, close your eyes. Imagine the tiger. How many stripes? Huh? Oh, why? Why you can't name it? Why you can't spell out to me? Close your eyes and you imagine the tiger, right? When you think about one stripe, there could be one stripe, tigers. When you think about many stripes, you believe you've just seen many of the stripes. Isn't it? In the tiger. So that's the thing. Now you can open the eyes. Yeah. See? You know what the tiger is, right? But you can't count how many stripes in the tiger, in your imagination. You're just making it in here. When you think that is one, yeah, you see just one stripes. When you think that is two stripes in the tiger, you just see two stripes on the tiger. Okay, so it might be, so that John Anderson is talking about trying to teach us, say, our mental image and real image might be different. But is that different? Is that real different? Your mental image? Probably that is your knowledge, isn't it? Knowledge about the tiger in here. When you see the tigers in the zoo, what's the difference? You already something in here. But tigers there. So visual information processing, real visual information processing and your mental imagination, is that the same or different? That's the question in this chapter. Why that is important? That gives us some hint about how our knowledge is represented in our brain. Because you're trying to retrieve some of knowledge from in here to find the answer on your final exam. But how that is represented? Difficult? I'm trying to make it simple. But sorry if I make it long. Okay. Anyway, so that is the thing. Okay. So, but interesting part of our understanding, we can just skip that. That is about our questions. Mental imaginary definition is this one: the processing of perceptual-like information without real information in the world. So we just mentally imaginary in here. That is definition. Mentally. It's not using your eyes. Okay? Mentally. That is meaning mental imaginary. Right. So, question. Verbal imaginary and visual imaginary. Say like, visual imaginary like a tiger. When you close your eyes, that is tiger. Okay, you can imagine it. What about sentence or a word? What's your name? Sorry? Your name? Changho. Shin-chang. Changho. If you heard about Shin-changho, where is this Shin-changho information is in your brain? Where is it?
My heart.
Your heart? Do you love me? Why are you using the heart? Heart to heart. Or the question is, verbal imagery, the word, like a cognitive psychology, where this word stored? Where? It's a question, isn't it? If you look, cognitive psychology, the word, like this textbook, Okay, that is visual information processing, isn't it? So that we all know exactly where it is using fMRI or neural activity thingy. Or when you close your eyes, so cognitive psychology, the same thing, same place in the brain, similar part. Simply say, okay, I'm just saying imaginary situation. That is our brain. I'm really bad drawer, so don't blame me. That is our brain. And nose, eyes. Yes. It looks like, what is that? My boy's something. Oh, never mind. Okay, we have something in here, Changho. Okay. When you see him, probably that part of brain is activated, right? Without him, which part of the brain is activated? Just imagine it. When we imagine the Changho, which part of brain is activated? Same place or different place? Huh? So many of the evidence from cognitive psychology, in particular neuropsychology and brain activity, it is similar part, very similar part. Implication? Even though you're not looking at your boyfriend or girlfriend or your parents, when you just simply imagine it, we have the same level of brain activity. Implication is huge. So using this information, you can make many different types of devices. Okay? I mean, that's why we have to study the brain to understand or to develop something new, right? So that is the thing of brain structure. So our textbooks say this part, the J is a jingle, word jingle. Okay? When they imagine about this jingle word, so this part is activated. And when just imagine about wayfinding, the pathfinding, the route finding, okay, route finding, the different part of brain is activated. This one is similar when we see the real information using your eyes or using your ears. Very similar part. Which means we can't exactly separate between mental imagery and the real visual perception. Interesting, isn't it? Any questions? No? Get it? Up to that point? Simple, isn't it? Okay. It's getting more difficult, right? Some of the experiment, okay, that is conclusion about the John Anderson. John Anderson say some of the same part of the brain is active as when they process actual speech or visual information with your imaginary. Okay, simple. Okay, similar. Okay. So next question is this one. Next issue. If so, imagine that you are talking to someone else over the phone, your mobile phone, your friends. When you're talking about your phone, so you simply believe this one is only your auditory information processing, isn't it? Because you can't see your friend in here. But from our mental imaginary, is it right? Is it true? When I'm talking with the Changho, okay, I'm just going to go outside and talking with him. When I was talking with him, probably my mental imaginary is working, say, okay, I'm just, the Changho is just in front of me. Because my brain is still working to draw Changho in here, okay? So maybe same workload. You get it? Understand? Is it? So, one of the research outcomes say the reason why we should not use mobile phone in the driving situation is that. So, when you use the mobile phone in the driving situation, it's not simply using auditory information, it's using your mental power, mental imaginary, to imagine your boy or girlfriend. That's why you can't use your full resources of your brain power. That is outcomes from the fMRI. Okay, say perhaps if the mental imaginary is working, I mean the real true, say you can't simply using mobile phone using the hands-free situation, hands-free, okay? It doesn't work for your driving because your mental activity is still trying to draw someone over the phone. But you need more studies, whether that is real true or not. But we're still driving very well, okay, with hands-free tools, okay? But this one might be, it's not real visual processing, but we haven't understand much. We need more studies on this part. So that's why I'm just raising an issue for your studies, future studies. Okay, this one is something very interesting experiment about effect of representing information in visual image as a verbal image. So Santa 1977, they made two different conditions. Okay, so seeing is believing, say like this one. Okay, participant, the subject, okay, subject, participant, 실험자, 비실험자, okay, participant. I'm trying to explain a little bit Korean. Say, okay, so this one is stimuli. Okay, the participant saw this one for a certain time, like 5 seconds. Okay, and then removed this stimuli. Okay, so they can't see anymore. They just imagine it, and then they saw 4 of the options. When they asked was they have to answer back to the experimenter, say whether they have seen the same object or different object. Okay, this one is same object, right? Triangle, circle, rectangle, I mean square, right? So the layout is not so much important in this experiment. They were simply asked whether they have a same object or not. Get it? So this one is same object, this one is same object, different object, isn't it? We don't have any error. Okay, that is geometric condition. Okay, the other one is verbal condition. Say this one. Okay, subject have seen this information, triangle, circle, square. And then after 5 seconds, it was removed. Okay, and then again ask whether they have the same verbal information, the word, triangle, circle, like that. This one is same, right? This one is different. Same. Same, different, right? So what Santa want to predict was how our mental imaginary is made. So what kinds of information representing in our mental imaginary. Okay, so that they want to see whether there could be spatial information, location information, or that is verbal word information. Get it? Situation? Understand the experiment? Okay, go on. So that is outcome. The how can we interpret it? So linear configuration is this one. This one is called the linear configuration. Okay, and the same configuration means same configuration like that. Okay, this one is same configuration, the layout. Okay, so look at that geometric line. Okay, when you have a geometric line, same configuration is much faster. But that is, if that is drawn in linear configuration, it takes more time. How can we interpret that? That is question. Kyung, tell me, how can we interpret this line? So when people see the same configuration of geometric information, they can quickly answer back. But when they have linear configuration, it takes more time. Which means, okay, when they recognize this one, much faster, oh, that is same, different, oh, very quickly. When they see this one, it takes more time. Okay, don't look at this one, just look at this one. Okay, they saw 5 seconds in here and then they imagine it about this picture and then they've been asked about whether that is same. But that is same, that different, same, different. Only difference is layout, isn't it? So they just measure responding time. So this one is quicker to say yes or no. This one is slow to say yes or no. Why that happened? You use your imagination. Explain.
They remember the original layout?
Yes, yes. So see? So probably the Santa's interpretation is this one. Exactly Kyung say, oh, when you have these kinds of information, we are trying to remember location, spatial information. Spatial, not spatial, spatial. Okay? Right. Oh, Kyung, you're so smart. Okay? So look at the verbal information now. Okay, look at the verbal information. That is opposite direction, isn't it? See? When they have a same configuration like this one, it takes more time to answer back. When they have this one, that takes shorter time. Is it? Like that. Statistically significant. Who I know? Oh, Unnim. Why this happen? So verbal information, it takes shorter time when they have a different configuration. Tell me. Tell us. Yes. Just guess.
I think human instinctively recognize the words linearly.
Yes, yes. So that is a very good answer. Say, right. So probably we are thinking the word in a linear approach. Say, that is our convention of reading. How we read? From the top to bottom and the left to right. Oh, it's different for all the Japanese and Arabian people will read in different ways. But most of the world is using top to bottom and left to right. So that's why when you have, even though we give us some kind of location information into the word, we simply say, oh yeah, triangle, circle, square, triangle, circle, square. So that is much faster. So location information is not being used to recognize the word. Right, implications? Okay, spatial information is spatial, the location thing. And word information is not, or more about the linear. What implication? Perhaps our brain has a different space, different place to store mental image. Spatial information is somewhere different, okay? The verbal information in different places. Isn't it? How can you use it? How can you use it? That is the thing of industrial engineering approach. Industrial engineering people need to, we are not studying about psychology, right? So what I'm saying is you have to understand the psychological findings or psychological account to make a new information for user-friendly, for user-friendly thingy. So implication. So verbal information representation might be different with the visual information representation in here. So geometric information, it might be using a spatial form representation, isn't it? That is my word. We need more experiment. Oh, that is not true. That is my interpretation. That's why I'm saying implications. So you need more experiment to prove this one is right. Perhaps geometric information like the triangle or some location or map information, map, train map, subway map, that might be stored in a spatial form. It's not word form. Think about your subway map. So I have to go from here to my place Ime using a Bundang line. So are you trying to remember all the stops? Okay, Hanyangdae, Tuksum. I remember like that. You're just drawing some of the things, right? Something like that. Okay? So maybe that could be spatial information rather than verbal information. But when you have to remember some information for your final exam preparation, you need to store that sentence information in a word forms, isn't it? That is not spatial form, that might be linear form. Otherwise, it might be difficult to retrieve. Isn't it? Nobody understands what I'm talking? Example. That is my desktop. 1루. Am I right? 최이루. Oh, sorry. 일환. Why I'm organizing my desktop like that? That is my personal preference. But why? How can you interpret why Ho-kyung's organize the desktop like that? Oh, 일환. I ask 일환. Sorry. The next time. Yeah. Oh, what's your name? I forget that. I will try to do next time. Yeah, name?
차재현.
재현. Okay. I will try to remember 재현. 일환, what do you think? Why I'm organized my desktop like that?
I think you distinguish
Distinguish. Yeah, that's right. Distinguish what?
distinguish it about your
Some of them are Excel file, some of them are Word file, some of them are graphic file.
object.
Oh yeah, object. Yes, I'm trying to distinguish all the things into particular object patterns to trying to remember where the file is using linear form or spatial form. Yes. So that could be much easier for me. So that's why I'm just trying to, okay, at any time I put something into Excel file into the right or Word file into the left, graphic file in the bottom. So that could be much easier to find where it is. That is my personal theory. Oh, that is my personal theory. Okay, that's why you have to interpret all the things using your theory. That's why we study the textbook, right? The textbook doesn't say all the truth. I guarantee you. Okay, sometimes at this time it could be right, but in 10 years' time it might be right, like our theory of relativity. Have you seen the newspaper a couple of days ago? We have found something new particle faster than light of speed, which is violate the theory of relativity. That's why we call the theory. But I mean, that's why when you study anything like that, you have to very critical thinking. So like what I did is, when I learned something about this one last night, so when you read this one, so I'm trying to mapping of this knowledge into the real example. So that's why I'm just found some of the answer with Ilhwan, right? What I'm expecting from your final exam is like that. So when I give a situation like that, you have to interpret or you have to make your own using your theory. I made a booking, 9 hours room. I will enjoy it. Okay, so that's the thing. So some of the interface design, it looks like that. So when you look at this one, see, it's using one spatial form of representation. This one might be more linear form because people are from reading browser, something. But when you have these kinds of thing, it might be good for some situation. That's why one of my fourth year, the project student is developing the new interface. They call that is Bubbly UI. It looks like spatial information. What they did is, so you know that the Samsung UI or Samsung, what is that? Galaxy UI is copied Apple's one, isn't it? Most of them, I mean, honestly speaking, they almost copied it. But I mean, problem is, design might not be patented item, but Apple believe design could be patented. So that's the debate between Apple and Samsung, but I don't care about it. But I mean, when we need to develop a new interface, we may need to kind of spatial form. So our fourth year student is trying to make something bubbly interface. Okay? It's not like our UI for something like this one, isn't it? That is Apple made it. Samsung copied it. Okay? Everyone copied Apple's one. So that is a traditional UI design using a linear form. Isn't it? Why we can't make this one? Of course, it might be not easy at the initial time, but we may need to measure whether or what they can give us certain benefit, different benefit. Yeah, that is what I'm trying to do with our 4th year students. Using this one? Say. Okay, next one is your IQ test. Shepard and Batchelor, 1971, they developed this one as a mental notation. Say, how people using their mental calculation. So when they have puzzle like this one, in the real thing, okay, so we can just move around, right? Visually processing their orientation and directions. Can we do the same thing in here without doing something on hand? That's the what we want to see from Shepard and Batchelor's experiment. You probably see these kinds of picture in your IQ test. IQ test. Anyone completed your IQ test in the primary school? Oh, is there any member of Mensa? Not in here. Kyungwon, what's your IQ? Oh, sorry, personal data, isn't it? Lower than 100? Over. Okay. So when you look through the IQ test questionnaire, we have heaps of this one. Okay, spatial cognition. So think about this one. Spatial cognition, why we need to use the IQ, why do we have to use these mental notation things in your IQ test is, if you have a high level of spatial cognition or mental calculation power, it might indicate you are brilliant, you're smart. Isn't it? If you have like a 100-digit calculation, 100-digit multiplication calculation in here, everyone call you're so smart, isn't it? So that is kind of positive relationship between this mental notation and IQ test. I'm really bad for this one. Okay. Another thing is what our research team is doing about how the game developed the spatial cognition. Anyone play games in here, like a shooting game, role-playing game, like a killing game, or anyone? People loves games, right? In particular, boy, Jaehyun, you never play. You play something, killing, one-person shooting game. Huh? So one of the research findings say if you play one-person shooting game more than half hour every day for 2 months, you can do this one better. Because one-person shooting game is really responsive, isn't it? Within a second, you have to avoid many of the bully coming to you, okay? And save your power, or change the weapons to grenade, or that kind of thing, right? So that's why you need the heaps of spatial cognition. So after using this one-person shooting game, your spatial cognition could be higher. Does that mean you're smarter, getting smarter? When you play more games? My boy never getting smarter when he play games. So that is a research topic, right? That is my research team is studying on this kind of similar thing where the game can improve the spatial cognition. So at the end, we can persuade our parents, let them play games. Isn't it? Play games. It improves your spatial cognition. I said something this one in keynote speech in NDC, the Nexon Development Conference in April, May, I don't remember exactly. So I did this kind of thing in keynote speech, and it was on aired. Okay, my face is real big, so in the aired. So I need some Photoshop later on, but Photoshop, yeah. But just after that day, I had heaps of phone call from parents. So why you keep talking about game is good? I didn't say game is good. Game make a spatial cognition improvement. That spatial cognition improvement might be improve your learning performance, your children's learning performance. I say might, but they never understand might. Okay, might means yes or no. Anyway, so that's the thing about Shepard and Batchelor is first 1971 say can we do mental rotation only using our mental power? And they say, yes, we can do it. But it depends on the rotation angle. If we need more rotation in here, it takes more time. Say like this one. So the idea is this one. The questionnaire is this one. When these two diagram or picture are the same when they are rotated. So this one is probably 90 degree to the 90 degree. Yeah, 90 degree to the paper. Okay, across the paper plane, and this one is to the paper, isn't it? To the paper. The other way. Okay, over the plane, and this one is to the plane, right? To the paper, right? Whatever screen. Wow. So that is they measured the angle of rotation, and the responding time is a linear relationship. Linear relationship is not so much important in this case, only say when you have to remember that if you need more calculation in here, it takes more time. Exactly what we do in a paper. Huh? Your visual processing is exactly the same. In chapter 2, Sternberg paradigm. Sternberg paradigm is exactly saying, so when you have more information to process or filter, it takes more time. Likewise, our mental calculation is exactly same in our visual perception. That's what you have pinpoint from this Shepard and Matzler's experiment. See, keep talking. We're talking about the same line. Mental calculation and visual information processing is the same. So this one would summarize the greater the angle disparity between the blah blah blah. Okay, you get it? Read it. So my explanation is this one. So probably many of you know that if you know the abacus, you know the abacus? Jupan? Abacus is Jupan, okay, in Korean. Okay. So if you know that some people who do the really good at mental calculation, multiplication, division, or adding some sort of stocking, right? The Gangwon-dong stocking is that they have how many digits? They just calculate within seconds long list of the number, right? How they do that? We can't do it, but how they do that? So one of the theory is they are using some kind of this kinds of thingy, the extra information queue. So they just using the abacus in here to adding up or division or multiplication. But interesting part of thing is that is Japanese abacus with the 4 stone. This one is Chinese abacus with the 5 stones. We have 5 in here. We are using the Japanese one, isn't it? We are not using the Chinese one. But interesting thing I found from some of the articles say Chinese mental calculation and Japanese mental calculation is different because of this metaphor. So when you have one more digit coming up, like 9 to 10, we're just adding up 1 in here, right? But that is Japanese and Korean people doing in mental calculation, but Chinese people, they didn't do that. Strange, isn't it? It seems, say they are using the abacus metaphor. But that is not much important things. I'm trying to understand this topic, so I'm using it. So anyway, so this one is some kind of visual imagery from other experimental thing. So image scanning, the fMRI or neuroactivity scanning say, okay, mental calculation and visual information processing are similar. Oh, yeah, now this one. What time is it? Okay. So visual imagery, that experiment lead to very important concept in knowledge representation. Scanning mental images. Brooks, 1968. Idea is this one. Okay. You should be careful from now on. That lead to our dual modality concept, visual and audio. That is really important experiment. Say this one. Participant is trying to remember from starting in here to tell us the point. If the point are the top or bottom, not in the middle, you say simply yes, right? Yes, because that is bottom. Yes, right? Yes. No, 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 yes, right? Okay? That's what they have to remember in here. And then this information is gone, removed. You have to keep memorizing. Okay? And then, as you see the textbook, they give two interference job. One is using, where is the textbook? Ah, I have a textbook, sorry, yeah. If you look at the chapter 4, page 99, so one group of users have to look at this yes and no visual search, okay, visual search, and the other group will say just talking. Get it? Okay, the situation is that they have to remember yes, no about the location of the point, and then one group of users seen yes and no chart in the textbook, and the other group is simply say yes and no. Okay? So, this one. The outcome is this one. Okay? I'm just see the diagram only. Diagram. Okay? So when they see the diagram like F thingy, right? When they have the pointing of yes and no chart using their finger or whatever, it takes more time. Get it? Why it takes more time? Rather than vocally saying yes or no. So your mental image about F, the location of the point, is a visual imaginary, right? Your information stored in visual form, right? Because location, spatial form, or whatever they say, if spatial is more easier for you, so we have to remember the information in the visual form in here. And then the thingy you have to follow, the chart, that is also visual information processing, isn't it? That's why it takes more time. See, if your information is stored in visual form and then ask another visual task, it takes more time because they are using the same resources. That is one theory. I don't know the second theory, which means that is a unique theory, isn't it? Okay? See? So when you have a visual information here and then you do another visual tasking, it might be difficult. But when you do this one, just simply verbally saying it, it doesn't make any big difference. It's kind of much easier than previous one. A little bit difficult experiment, but when you look at that, some of the real example, you will understand it. So that you have to remember, who's that? This Brooks experiment, mentally scan the mental array of block of diagram F. Okay? Ignore the sentence, that is second experiment. When scanning a mental array, people are scanning a representation that is analogous to the physical array, which means if your mental information is in visual form and then if you're asked to do another visual information processing in real thing, it might be difficult. Because that is already occupied in some part of your same area of brain. See? Get it? Okay, simple, isn't it? So when you understand it, very simple. When you couldn't understand it, it's never easy. So that is the thing. No, what is it? That is who is my another supervisor, Badley, in England. So he's had a similar experiment. Likewise, external physical array causes a great interference of mental scan, which means same code might be interfered with each other. So that is implication. So my daughter, she's 9, she's gorgeous, beautiful, I haven't seen her for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 3 days. I haven't seen her 3 days. Okay. Yeah, she is. She needs piano playing. Okay, playing piano. But I'm really poor professor, so I don't have any piano at home. Yeah, but how she can learn her practice? She needs piano practices. Okay, because she's playing in the Hagwon, the institutes, but we don't have any piano at home. But she needs some exercise, practice. How can we do it? Huh? Oh, with your finger, real finger. One of the educational psychologists is say your mental practice can help. Okay, mental practice. So she just believed that she's playing piano in here. Huh? It helps. Like when you do before your final or midterm exam, you keep practicing. Like a presentation, when you do need some bigger presentation or professional presentation, okay, before you're getting into it, so you have to mentally process it in here, like a practice. That make you perfect, right? So likewise, mental calculation or mental imaginary is kind of complementary learning process to the real hands-on experience. Get it? That's why some of the educational people, practitioners, are trying to combine physical exercise and mental exercise together. Not in our country, I never seen it because you need a Jeongseok and heaps of cram school thingy, but in different countries, they are doing this one in primary school. In the primary school, they learn something different activities. And sometimes they have the real hands-on experience, like our scientific experiment. But sometimes ask their pupil, the students, to mentally imagine what will happen. So these two things can be combined to make a perfect knowledge. That is the tradition in different countries, but that using our understanding from this mental imaginary. Mental practice, 5-finger piano exercise. So I'm keep asking her, practice, yes? I like Kyungwon do, okay? But she never getting better, problem, so that is my situation. Okay, next one. Moyer's experiment is very simple, but that is also important, like, I forget his name. Brooks experiment. Brooks experiment and Moyer's experiment, it's two competing, it's not competing, but that is a very important two concept in mental imaginary. Okay. What time is it? Okay, I can give a little bit more. The Moyer's experiment, okay, Brooks experiment is same code thingy. Okay, like visual code, mentally visual code, and the real visual perception structure. If that is colliding each other, it might take more time. But what Moyers did was size or visual acuity. So what he did is whether subject or participant could judge the relative size of animals from memory. Of course, you know the different size of elephant and mouse, but what I'm saying, the similar thing which you're not familiar with, like not familiar with, yeah, I don't know, maybe something, devil's mouse, something Australian has a very special animal. Kiwi, you know the kiwi bird? Kiwi, have you seen that? Kiwi, yeah, kiwi. And devil's eye or something. I mean, because you're never familiar with these kinds of animal, when I ask you which one is bigger, you might be not easily to answer. Or when I say elephant and mouse, you're really quick. Which one is bigger? Elephant. Or Mickey Mouse is big. Yeah, I know. But I mean, normally the general mouse is very small. So ask the estimate of the size of two animals. People generally take a longer time when the size difference are very small, like kiwi and sand devil. useless memory. Okay, so that is kind of we can simply measure. So that is very similar with the Brooks experiment. When the difference in size is small, it takes more time. Okay, size is very small, it takes more time. If the size is really big, okay, the difference of size is really big, it takes shorter to respond. Okay. The Finke's experiment is another thing. Maybe we can judge some of the thing with simply mental calculation. This one is very interesting example. Say like this one. Don't look at the B and C. Which one is longer? Up, down, top. Right? But actually the same size. Okay, this one is same size. So what Finke did was, okay, just simply imagine it. You just see this one and then this one. Okay, two, same thing. And then ask them combine these two parallel lines from here to here. Okay, just to imagine it. Okay, and then the outcome is if someone who has high level of visual memory skill, they have more visual illusion. Which means they can do feeling the same illusion effect even though they haven't seen it. They just mentally calculate it and then they see the same illusion. Like in the week 2, I showed that blinking dot, isn't it? Blinking dot. When you look at that, that could be changed the colors, right? So if you are high level of visual processing power, it doesn't say you're smart. Okay, you have something different resources, but in such a people can the same illusion without seeing it, just by your imagination. Don't look at me like I read your mind. So when I say something about I graduate from psychology, PhD in psychology, everyone say, can you read my mind? I couldn't read your mind, but just say the experimental outcome say mental thingy can be associated with the real thingy happens world. That is the main outcomes of chapter 4. Okay? So look at that. So our visual image are the same with, the image is same with our visual perception. Evidence that there are difference between mental image and visual perception of object. Okay, previous one is exactly the same, but another controversial outcome by the Chambers and Reisberg is say this one. Interesting thing is this one. So when you look at this one, you can see the two different interpretation. One is dog and the other one is rabbit. Okay? But when I show you this one in 5 seconds and then ask them when you have seen, you can only say one animal. But after I ask you to draw when you have seen it, after drawing it, you can see the two animals. So from this experiment, we understand that when you think about mental image, say it could be one interpretation, but when you actually drawing it, visual information, drawing it, the visual processing, you can see the other meaning. So that's why seeing is believing. Our old proverb, 백문이 불여일견 in Korean, English term is seeing is believing. Right? So it's old knowledge, maxim, seeing is believing. But sometimes it's believing, okay, what is it? Visual image, yeah, just read it. Self-study, 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 self-study. Okay, so from now on is by the next tomorrow. Okay, I will keep going. So something a little bit more. Okay, that is summary about Brooks experiment and Moyer's experiment. Brooks experiment about what? The F thingy. Okay, F. Huh? That is Brooks experiment. Yay. Brooks experiment, this one. Okay, this one is Brooks experiment. Okay, this one is Brooks experiment. And Moyer's experiment is this one. The size, two animal size. Okay. So based on this one, we can say Brooks say peoples are sensitive to the spatial structure of information. And Moyer say people process visual details such as size. So that's why title say imagery involves both spatial and visual component. We memorize some of the visual information here as well as spatial information. That is very important for your information design like navigation, Inca navigation system, isn't it? Example? Okay, I can just skip to that. Like this one. You have to go somewhere, isn't it? But how can you visualize the information on navigation system? This one is simple car navigation system. However, if you have to make some kind of display unit for the aircraft carrier, not aircraft carrier, aircraft pilot, okay? Aeroplane pilot or big vessel, you get drivers, okay? Can I say driver? Controller, yeah, controller is a better word. So how can we represent the information of navigation to them? This way, that is egocentric view. That is world-centric view. That means allocentric representation. Which one is better? Of course, you will say this one is much better because that is, you always interpret your information in terms of your viewpoint, isn't it? Problems? That's when you only know the in front of you. You can't see the next one. That's why you need sometimes map knowledge. Okay? Likewise, that's my question. And we'll see okay, this one. Okay. Main thing. This one. Map distortion. Which one is north? Cheonan or Cheongju? Huh? Which one is north? Cheonan is north. Probably many of you, when I have a controlled experiment, many of you will say Cheongju is the north because that is Pukto. How far from here? Like this one. I'm living in Bundang, okay, Gyeonggi-do Bundang. And my parents live in Mokdong, in Seoul. Which one is far away from here? Many of you will say, if you don't know the map knowledge, many of you will say, of course Gyeonggi-do is far away from here. But actually from here to Bundang is 20 kilometers. From here to Mokdong is 25 kilometers. Like Guri is our Professor Lee, Idong Lee. So he lives in Guri. But when I keep talking about after drinking with him, so we just have take a taxi, right? But he's always shorter than me. Say, the Guri seems to be far away from in here, rather than Gangnam. But actually, Guri is much closer than Gangnam. But because you believe that Gyeonggi-do is boundary, it's above the Seoul, so that is, it's far away. Gyeonggi-do, no, never go there. Okay? Like that kind of map distortion happen, but that kind of map distortion from what? Comes from what? Your mental imagery. Your knowledge representation is always distorted. So that's why when you make information systems, okay, you have to make people helping to avoid this map distortion. Likewise, that is another our map distortion. So our soul or metro line doesn't look like this one. This one is only our imagination, and designers give you a feeling about called rectilinear normalization. When I ask you how to get to, in particular my mom, she never know where Bundang is, but she knows how to get to there because she always know using a subway. Likewise, say our mental image about subway metro line looks like that. That is not true. In the real map, it doesn't mapping it there. It looks like close, isn't it? But when I'm using a Bundang line, it takes longer. Then this one is probably right in this part, but somewhere it doesn't map with our real survey knowledge. Okay, so when you make these kinds of thing, so see other map, the China and New York, they always using this kind of map, but that is not the real knowledge, because we are doing rectilinear normalization. So that's the thing. By tomorrow we are talking more how we can use these kinds of map imaginary, the mental imaginary, so how we can avoid these kinds of issues by some techniques will be discussed tomorrow.